All right, boys and girls, today we are going to use strategies and algorithms, including the standard algorithm to multiply a two-digit number by a two-digit number. So today we're going to use a word problem. So I'm just going to read it to you. And the way I like to always read a word problem is I like to leave the numbers blank so I can really think about what's going on. So Jane had some trays of cookies. Okay, so I'm visualizing that, a bunch of trays of cookies, and each tray had some cookies on it, multiple cookies on each tray. Okay, so how many cookies did she have all together? So I want to know all the amounts of cookies that she had. Okay, so if each tray had some cookies, so she had, I think I'm going to multiply on this one. So she's having 32 trays times 15. I'm going to multiply on this one, and I'm going to start with using the box method we did yesterday. Really liked that one. It's a good strategy to use. So I know I have 2 digits times 2 digits. It's 4 digits. So I'm going to use the box method. Okay. And I know that 32 is made of 30. Value of 3 is 30. Plus the value of 2 is 2, and then I have 15, so that's 10. The value of the 1 is 10, plus the 5 is valued at 5, so that's 10 plus 5. So I've got my box set up, and very similar to the area model, because the area model just has all the columns and rows in it. This does not. So I am going to use my colors like I did yesterday to make it easier for you to see. So I'm going to take this first box, which my column is 10, my row is 10, times the column is 30. So 10 times 30, I'm going to break it down to 1 times 3 is 3, and I have 2 zeros to pop, so that gives me a partial product of 300. Then I have a row of 10 times a column of 2. So 10 times 2 is 20. And then I have a row of 5 times a column of 30. So that would be 5 times 30. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to pop that 0, gives me 150. And then lastly, I have a row of 5 times a column of 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So there's my 4 partial products. It's very important to remember that I'm going to have 4 times. I'm multiplying 4 times in this, because that's what we're going to do over on our standard algorithm. So now I'm going to add those up. I've got 300 plus 20. Now it doesn't matter which direction you multiply over here, because we will get the same answer. So I could have, for instance, I could have said 30 times 10 first. I still would have gotten 300. And so now we're going to add these all up. I've got a 0 here, my ones place. 2 times 5 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 3 plus 1 is 4. And again, it doesn't matter if I add 300 plus 150 plus 10 plus 20, the order, I'm still going to get 480 cookies. So 32 trays times 15 cookies is going to give me 480 total cookies altogether. All right, so on this side over here, I am going to do a standard algorithm, and that is where I'm just going to line it up. And I am going to start with standard algorithm. It's much more efficient, it's quicker, but you do have to do it in a specific way. So we're always going to start with this ones place on the bottom. Think of it like if I was doing a 4-digit number times 5, I always start here. Okay, so we kind of want to go back to our prior knowledge there. You'd always want to start on that bottom number. So we're always going to start here. And I have a little chant here that you can say, and it's very helpful to help you learn. So we're going to start with up, then we're going to go over, And don't forget the placeholder. So let's walk through that. We're going to say 5 times 2, because we're going to multiply 4 times here. So 5 times 2 is 10. Now again, I can't put 10 here because I'm going to go up and then I'm going to go over. So I have to regroup my 10 up here, and I'm going to put a +1 because I'm multiplying. So then I'm going to say 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 more is 16. And I'm not multiplying anymore, so I can put 16 right here. But I don't want to forget the placeholder. So now I'm going to put a placeholder right here underneath on the next column, because anytime I multiply times the 10, which I'm going to multiply by the tens place next, then I do not want to forget, like 10 times 2 will always give me 20. I'll always pop my 0. Or 5 times 30 is 15, and I'll pop my 0. I'll always pop my 0. So we will always put a 0 in the placeholder here. So now we're going to say over, up. Now it's time to add them up. So let's walk through that. We're going to go to the next part. So we're done with this side. So a lot of times I like to cross this out and cross that out because we're done with those, okay? So I can say over, I'm going to go over here. So 1 times 2 is 2. And then I can go up. 1 times 3 is 3. Now it's time to add them up. So I've got 0, 6 plus 2 is 8, 3 plus 1 is 4. So you'll notice I got the same answer, and here's what's really cool about this is if you do it correctly, you will have a little bow tie right in the middle. And that is how you use the strategy of the box method and the standard algorithm to multiply a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number.